Hari Om. So all of us are seeking directly, indirectly, knowingly, unknowingly, our own self, which is of the nature of Sat, Chit and Ananda. Not knowing ourselves as we are, we seek security because there is fear of becoming non-existence, of dying. We seek knowledge because there is a lot of confusion in the mind, and we seek happiness because of not knowing ourselves, not recognizing there is a lot of sorrow and pain. So Arjuna's case we saw, he went on the battlefield and he expressed all this fear, confusion and great sense of grief also. So in order to remove him from this situation, Bhagwan gives him this knowledge of the self through this Bhagavad Gita. So he divides his teaching into two parts. Bhagwan says one is called Sankhya, Sankhya Buddhi, and another is called Yoga Buddhi. Sankhya Buddhi is recognizing and realizing and knowing our own self as it is. Knowledge of the self which will remove all misunderstanding which we have about our own nature. It's called Sankhya. And the other thing which Bhagwan reveals is called Yoga. Yoga is a sadhana, spiritual practice, which ultimately will lead us to that Sankhya or lead us to that state of realization. So practice and the theory is revealed, which is said in all the, at the end of every chapter also. When we say Om Tat Sat Iti Srimad Bhagavad Gita Su Upanishadsu Brahma Vidyayam Yoga Shastre. So that Brahma Vidya is Sankhya and Yoga Shastra is that Yoga Buddhi, a knowledge about the practice or sadhana which will take us to this state of realization. So from the 11th shloka onwards till shloka number 30, Bhagwan revealed the Sankhya Buddhi, the nature of our own self, which is infinite, which is deathless, which is eternal, which is all-pervading, which doesn't take birth and death. That is the self. And now from verse number 38 onwards, Bhagwan reveals that Yoga Buddhi. So he says that Sukha Dukkhe Same Kritva Labha Labho Jaya Jayo Tato Yuddhaya Yujyasva Naivam Papam Avapsesi. Hey Arjuna, once you have decided, once you have understood the importance of performing your duties, fulfilling your responsibilities, you have to make up this mind beforehand and then fulfill your duties. Consider the pairs of opposite Saman in your mind. The joy and the sorrow, the gain and loss, the victory and defeat is not really in your hand. So don't get disturbed if joy comes or if sorrow comes. Keeping your mind balanced in both the situation, you have to work. Because either joy will come or sorrow will come. If they disturb you, then you will be always in a state of disturbance. So try to make your mind balanced in both joy and sorrow, and then you perform your duties. You will not incur any sin means your mind will start becoming more and more pure, and you will become fit to recognize your own self. And also, if you act in this way, your action will be most efficient. So it will give rise to the maximum output, like. It will be the best action which a human being can perform. So from a worldly standpoint also, if you act with this karma yoga attitude, it will help you in gaining whatever prosperity outward, but it will also help you to quieten and to make your mind pure. So having said this, now Bhagavan tells something more about this philosophy of karma yoga. One thing which prevents us from following this path of karma yoga, because we are attached to ordinary karma and we are attached to the result which karma gives. So Bhagavan first brings out very vividly the negative effect of ordinary karma, the problems which are there in ordinary karma as compared to karma yoga, which is superior and better. So he, from the following verse, he reveals the speciality of this karma yoga. Very interesting. Let us chant verse number 40. Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. In case of karma yoga, performing action with a particular attitude, Bhagavan says there is no loss of effort. It's called abhikramaha, abhikramanashaha. Abhikramanash means loss of effort. See, when we perform an action in the world to gain something out in the world, we have to perform action. Without action, we can't get the desired result. But at times it happens that we perform the action, but the result doesn't come. Then what happens to all the action which we have performed? That goes to is lost only. And the very beautiful example is given is about our agriculture. So a person, the farmer, works in the field. Beforehand, he has to plow the whole land and put forth a lot of effort. And not only the farmer, but also the animals and all, the bulls, they put forth effort to plow the land, then to put the seed, and to prepare the whole thing properly, put the fertilizer and all. So a lot of effort is there. But at times, they wait for the rain. At times the rain doesn't come. Or the rain comes at the wrong time. After the crop has grown, it rains and the whole thing gets lost. Or it doesn't rain and then also it doesn't grow. So there is a loss. Loss of what? Loss of all the effort. Because the effort is put, it should have given rise to the result, but the result doesn't come. What was the result he was expecting? The crop and getting the proper yield and all, but it doesn't come. So what happens to the effort? It goes to waste only. That is called abhikramanasha. So in the world, when we set a goal and put forth effort, there is always a chance that all our effort can go to waste. Sometimes our goal is immediate. We know, we can see the wasted effort. Hmm? But at times we place some goal which is so far away, means with respect to time, and we put forth so much of effort. People set up a goal in their life which they might achieve after 5 years, after 10 years. So for 10 years they struggle like anything. And after 10 years, when the time comes for getting the result outwardly, it doesn't come. Or it comes in a different way, and it doesn't satisfy them. So what happens to the effort which they had put goes waste. As far as the result is concerned, with respect to result, that effort has been a big waste only. So that is called avikramanasha. Bhagavan says this avikramanasha is not there in case of karma yoga. Because in karma yoga, you do not seek result outside, but you seek a result inside. Because outwardly Bhagavan says that you have to, later on he will say that you have to, and now also he has said that you treat both the success and failure in equal measure. But internally, the mind which has understood this attitude of karma yoga, internally the mind starts becoming more and more pure. Whether we get the result as desired or as expected outside or not, the mind becomes pure. There is no loss of effort. When a person walks on this path, let us say for 5 years he walks on this path, outwardly also he might be having some goal, but internal goal is there of purity of mind. 5 years he works, he gains that purity of mind. He might not get the expected result. But in case of other person, also works for 5 years, might not get the external result, but doesn't get the internal result also. Internally, the person is left with frustration, left with a sense of cynicism, left with anger, left with pride, left with a lot of sadness and a sense of incompleteness. Because we had put all our bet as though on the result, and the result doesn't come. So there is a great sense of disturbance and loss which is felt internally. So that is what we see in this world. People place their great expectation in the result which will come in future. And we are waiting. All the time we are waiting for the result to come. So when we are in a state of waiting, we are not really happy. We are not really at ease. We are not really at home because we are waiting. It's like waiting room. You don't consider the waiting room as your home, however comfortable the waiting room might be, because we are waiting. So in case of ordinary action, there is always the possibility of the action getting wasted. But in case of karma yoga, Bhagavan says there is no wastage of effort. This is very interesting and should be understood properly. Means as a learning, it will always help us. Karma yoga will always, whatever be the result, will always give rise to that purity and quietude of our mind. Like, for example, here Arjuna was fighting. If he fights